Hey folks, welcome back. Randy here.
Naomi.
And Ray.
We're going to be reviewing the upcoming and rating the upcoming legendaries for Archazia's Island. We're going to start off with Amber today. So first one, Aurora Walking Beauty. She's a 3-cost inkable. Her stats are 1/4. She's a singer 5. Quest for 2 and her effect, Sweet Dreams. Whenever you remove 1 or more damage from a character, ready this character. She can't quest or challenge for the rest of this turn. So intuitively, potential combos, right? Obviously, Steel Song being a singer 5 at 3 cost. When you remove 1 or more damage, ready this character. So the potential for either singing twice in a turn or just keeping her safe. So she can sing. I think the first combo that comes to mind is Rapunzel turn 4, right? Heal something, draw cards, ready her, and then from the cards that you drew, you can sing again. Initial thoughts, pretty interesting. I think the 1 attack obviously makes her vulnerable to a lot of red removal. So the human Sisu, brawls, etc. But in terms of being able to ready again, a little safe from challenging and stuff. Curious, what do you folks think?
Go ahead.
I think it's going to be annoying to be against. Just because she's a singer 5. So Whole New World, automatic. Turn 3, that's pretty rough. So that's probably going to be one of the biggest things for me. I mean, she quest for 2, so that's another good thing. But other than that, it's unless you're playing red, it's pretty easy removal.
Yeah, I think you pretty much said it all. Like, it's gonna go in the Steel Song or any song deck, and I like her because she's like abusable, and I think more of these like healing. You said the obvious combo of Rapunzel, but like a lot of the healing songs, actions, and items will have more relevance because they're pretty much useless at this point. So it's a good addition to just the series.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting point. Do we see more healing outside of Rapunzel? And there's some, right? There's a Madrigal, I think, that heals and draws card.
Yeah, Julieta.
Yeah, and I think there's one coming out this set as well that it gives resist to someone you heal, or no?
I'm not sure.
We just saw it.
Yeah.
I don't remember, but
it'll be right here. But yeah.
The long story shorter, in essence, there's potential for more healing. Do you anticipate more healing to come into these decks, or will it be pretty traditional, what we've already seen with this card being sprinkled into some decks? In other words, is this effect enough to get people to use more healing effects?
I think it'll be like tested. Like people will try to bring it and see if they can take advantage of this effect, because the effect's really good. She's singing, and she can sing more than once in a turn. Yeah. So pretty much sing whatever, like let's say Whole New World, and heal something, and just sing again, and that's already like extremely powerful. You're getting 10 inks worth in 1 turn. So I think people are definitely gonna, test it out and see if they can use this. So I would say, yeah, they would at least try
it out. Interesting.
Healing.
Cool. So we're gonna go ahead and rate it on a scale of 1 to 5. 5 is the best. You all pick your numbers. Ray copied me all the time last time, so we're committing to numbers now. At the count of 3, let's reveal 1, 2, 3. What did you rate it and why?
4, just because Whole New World. I just think that's really strong in regards to any Steel Song, especially when they play 4 of them usually. So, I mean, that's always so annoying. I mean, at least for me, being against Steel Song. So that's one of my biggest takebacks. And then it can also sing Grab Your Swords.
Yeah, a lot of variety. Okay. Ray, would you rate it?
I gave it a 3, and that's kind of like, it sounds better on paper than it might execute. Much like the Rapunzel, which just sounds crazy. If you heal for 3, you draw for 3, and that sounds super amazing. But most of the time, it doesn't really pop off. And I think this might be the same scenario where it just sounds really good, but maybe harder to execute than you would say.
Yeah, I'd say a 3. Also, I think for me, I don't expect it to be 4-ofs in any deck. I don't think, right? You're relying obviously on songs for it to be able to work. So you have a ton of songs, but then to benefit from its effect beyond the singer 5, you need to have some heal incorporated. So singer 5, we've got Gaston that does that. Obviously, the best one I think is Ariel. The benefit of readying it to either sing again or just prevent it from being challenged, you need to have a heal component. So you're relying on another card. So I think it's a 3 in terms of its potential effect. I don't think anybody will run it in 5s, so I give it a 3. Yeah, We'll move on to the next legendary now. So second legendary for Amber, Minnie Mouse Storyteller. She's a 2-cost uninkable. Stats are 1/2. Gather Around is one of her effects. Whenever you play a character, this character gets +1 lore this turn. So default is 0 lore, which is interesting. I didn't realize it beforehand. Then second effect, just 1 more. Whenever this character quests, chosen opposing character loses attack equal to this character's lore until the start of your next turn. Initial thoughts obviously are aggro, right? She gets additional lore for characters you play. If you have lower cost characters, you can kind of flood the board, give her a lot of lore for the turn. Low cost, right? So interesting in that regard. Potential combos that come to mind, I think some of the more obvious ones are ones that allow you to flood the board more, so things like Pride Lands, right? What is it, Prince or Kings, to lower the cost of characters. Excuse me, the other is Perdita. I think when you play her and when she quests, you can play 2 characters from your discard. Something like that, right?
Yeah, it'll be right here.
But allows you to, again, flood the board to give more lore to her. Obviously not a turn 2 play, it's a bit later on, but playing her and setting up for the following turn. So those are the initial kind of combos that come to mind. What do you folks think?
Yeah, I didn't really think about the Simba, the Pride Lands thing. That's actually really good with this card, because at first I thought it was, a little underwhelming. Just, typically you can play 1, maybe 2 characters in aggro, so it's going to be hard to really abuse the effect. But that's it.
I think it's kind of slow. But just because, you have to wait for her to quest to bring her out and actually do something. But in general, it's like you have to wait to bring out all your daisies in one turn in order to actually have her benefit. So I feel like it's kind of a slowdown because you could have played it already instead of waiting to hope to give her lore. So that's the only drawback for me.
Yeah, it reminds me a bit of like Piglet a little bit, where you need more for it to work right. So like, but to like almost an even more extreme case, because Piglet, if you play it on 2, you're assuming you play something on 1, then on turn 3 you play something else, his effect immediately works. With Minnie Mouse on turn 3, if you play one thing, she only quests for 1, right?
Yeah.
But if you do things like lowering the cost of characters, or there's also what Matt plays, is it Pooh Pirate?
Pooh Pirate.
Reduces pirates, so you can play more pirates in one turn when he quests, so you can play a couple of cards. The advantage obviously this has over those is once you get 2 characters out, especially early game, like there aren't many things that'll be able to challenge for that much when you lower their attack by 2. Obvious exceptions are things like the rushing Madam Mim Fox and whatnot, but that benefit of like being safe. And also, while it is slower, I agree, Naomi, I think there's potential for just holding her, right? You can play her later on so that a following turn you can maybe play more characters and then she can quest for 3 or 4 or something. But again, oftentimes rush decks don't have a lot of like draw, right? They go in early. Exceptions maybe Doc and whatnot. So it's interesting. I think there is some potential. I think it can be annoying, but I think similar to the earlier card, I don't expect folks to run 4 of these. So rating wise, if you all want to pick, reveal, count of 3, 1, 2, 3. What'd you all give it?
Oh my gosh, you guys are so low.
I'll start. I give it a 1 just because I don't think like anything really works well on this card. Like she doesn't have any base, lore for questing. So that's just kind of bad in aggro. Like, and if you have to rely on other cards, and most likely you're gonna play maybe 1, maybe 2 characters. So unless you have like a deck that's very like the Simba Pride Lands or the Pirates, where that's a part of the deck, I don't think it's gonna see too much play, and it just feels weak. And the secondary effect is lower the attack of another character, and that's handy. But like when compared to, let's say, Daisy Duck or something, where she can just take that extra hit like at all times, and she quests for 2 guaranteed, like, and she's cheap, and she has that the drawback, but the stat wise and everything, like it's just 100% reliable, or this is gonna be hit or miss.
Yeah, so 1 as well, and then we'll give it to you, Naomi, who rated it higher, but 1 as well. I think it's just the reliance, right? You're relying on other cards for it to be better, and that's what makes it a little challenging for me. I mean, you can assume if you're going super aggro that every turn you'll probably draw a character, but the fact that it doesn't have base lore makes it a little difficult. if it had a base lore of 1, and then if like the reduction of attack was based off of additional lore gained, would be interesting. But the fact that it's base 0 is a bit of a like struggle for me. Most likely you'll have it at 1, right? You'll always have something to play, but that reliance makes it challenging. It'll be interesting though to see what some aggro players pull off. But I think just overall, I don't see this being the most impactful in aggro. Maybe Steel Song if it's a Simba Pride Lands version of it. But even then, there are other better options.
So I rate it a 3. I think I'm more generous just because I really like the artwork. I mean, it's going to look really cool in person. But I mean, you guys have great points. Just in general, it is going to be really slow. Having to rely on other cards is going to be very difficult. But with aggro, I mean, depending, like if like our friend Matt that plays, he usually has 3 people. He plays 3 people per turn. No problem. Usually, if he has a hand. So I mean, it is going to be slow, but in general, I feel like it's not going to be used very much. It's not inkable, so it's not as helpful.
To caveat, we were awful last set with our guesses. We didn't realize how Lilo worked, and we thought it was the best card ever. So let us know what you think in the comments. And then also, you mentioned Matt, again, from his perspective, would love to hear how he approaches it, right? Because he's like very creative and really plays aggro consistently and well. So if Matt gets us out and quests for 4, like that's a big hit, right? When he wins by turn 4, you know, so it'll be interesting to see. Maybe we underrated it. Maybe you overrated it. We don't know. Let us know your thoughts. But I think that wraps up. Any closing thoughts before we close out the video? Thanks for watching.
All right.